Hi there, Floss Tube. It's Verbena coming to you from a hotel by the airport in Kentucky. And I am here because today is the first day of Stitchcon. I'm super duper excited and nervous. I can't wait. It's been like Christmas this last week, like no sleeps, no sleeps, no sleeps. But I'm here. I travel alone from the West Coast, and I traveled light because I'm watching everybody Stitchcon stuff and retreat stuff, and they're like, oh, well, I always bring like 28 projects, and I only brought, I only put 10 stitches in the whole weekend. So I was trying to be realistic, manage my expectations. So I brought my Christmas Tiny Town and my Big Hearted Tiny Town. I got everything unpacked last night and like reset up. I don't know if I don't like the fabric I brought. I brought this blue. It's an opalescent Lugana, and I didn't have any. Excuse me. Sorry about that. It's morning, and I have complimentary continental breakfast orange juice in my throat, making me a little froggy. I didn't want to do mine the tea dye. I wanted to do mine on a blue background originally, and I didn't have any blue, but I had this pretty opalescent fabric, but it was white. So I dyed it right before I left, like literally the night, two nights before. I just tossed it in a dye bath, and I don't really like it. It's pretty. I started the heart. You can see the heart there, and I don't know. That opalescent white is so pretty, and then when you dye it, you don't realize until you dye it how much of that opalescent fiber is in there. And since that doesn't soak up the dye, it is. I don't know if you can tell, on the iPhone screen, but it's like every fourth or fifth stitch is opal, and it just becomes really, really busy. Like it goes from being a flurry of snowflakes to a blizzard of opalescent. So I'm not loving this. And I know that, the shop at the annex shop at Stitchcon doesn't open up until tomorrow for sales. So I am kind of, my hope on this trip was for shopping was fabric, because, I have to either order fabric, which I had ordered a fabric and I ended up not liking for a project to bring here. And then it ended up being, I waited for it to be hand dyed, and then I got, I was so excited because it was going to be here before Stitchcon, but it is really, really dark. Like it's a green, and I thought it was going to be like a mottled acidy green, but because of the base fabric I chose, it is so dark. I don't think I'm going to see the black, it's primarily black floss project, and I don't think I'm going to see it at all on that dark green. And that's an inexperience thing on my part. It's not, the dyeing is beautiful, the fabric is beautiful, but for the purpose that I had wanted, it's just not going to work. And that's my inexperience for ordering hand-dyed fabric. So my goal for shopping for this trip was, if I don't, I can always get a pattern, right? You can always, unless it's a limited edition, this event only pattern, you can always order the pattern later. I can always get floss. I can always do those things. But the thing that I'm trying to work on my wardrobe of fabrics, and I'm just really hoping that there is a nice stash of 28 count fabric for sale. And so I'm going to hold off on Big Hearted Tiny Town and see if there is a nicer a nicer baby blue, or maybe a hand-dyed sky. I kind of like the idea of these tiny towns being on a pretty day, you know? So I would want, I've been wanting to put them, they've been in my stash and I've been looking at them and I've been wanting to do them. And this is actually, I wanted my Big Hearted Tiny Town to be my cross stitch camp from the Colorado Cross Stitcher. I wanted that one to be my June cross stitch camp holiday stitch. So hopefully I will be able to find a fabric. I do have another idea though, which I'll fill you in a minute. But I have all my, I've got all my flosses on my rings. So as soon as I can find a fabric that I'm happy with, bam, off I go. I also brought my needles dance, and that's the collaborative from Summer House Stitch Works, Ink Circles, and Hands-On Design. And it is so pretty. And oh gosh, hopefully that was fast enough because I don't have editing software here today. I got this fabric, which I believe is, I can't put my phone down because I didn't bring any stuff with me. I have no selfie stick. I have no tripod. I have no, okay, here we go. We got, it's upside down. I got Weichelt, Nordic Blue, and it's a 28 count, which is my favorite. I got that. I ordered that last year. I ordered the called for fabric is Blue Moon by Weichelt. So I ordered the Blue Moon. I ordered one other blue. I can't remember which one it was. And I ordered this one, which is the Nordic Blue, and tossed my floss on the 3, and this is the one that I liked best. I thought it was really striking. I'm doing it 1/1 on the 28 count. So this is, let me pull this back. Here we go. So I have a little bit over here. I have a lot down here. I have several folds down here. And as you can see, this is the frame here is coming down. So I'm right there. So I'm about a quarter down. So there is going to be no problem getting this entire piece like on this, in this Q-snap. And it's I think it's a 14. Let me move this. 11. It's an 11 by 11 or a 10 by 10. So, because I just put a sheet of, I guess I could have, it's about half there. So maybe it's 14. My math. No, because I put the other one. Yeah, the other one. 8.5. It's an 8.5 by 11 sheet goes this way. So it's probably an 11 by 11 Q-snap. So what I'm thinking is that I can get my needle stance there, and then those colors look beautiful. And then I can just put a couple like little star shines up in the sky in my tiny town, and maybe it's nighttime in my tiny town. And I can have one frame and just, stitch this one and then turn it to the side and stitch Tiny Town Big Hearted that way. And then I can move it up and I can do Christmas. And then we'll see. But the advantage of that is, I was talking to my mother when I died, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm dyeing fabric for my retreat." And she's like, "You're okay." And I told her the whole, I don't, trying to figure out fabric for these little projects. And then I let her know, I was like, well, there's more of them. There's patriotic, and then there's also a new flower one. So, and I imagine, I am so hoping that there's going to be a spooky tiny town, because if there is this, I like the spooky. So, then I thought, oh no, I'm talking to my mother. And I'm like, oh no. And she's like, oh, what? And I said, well, I'm never going to match these fabrics with this hand dyed. And that's the other, I think that's when my main dissatisfaction on that, that blue hand dyed, the blue hand dyed that I did set in, was when I realized, oh no, it's not going to match. It will not match. I'll never, ever, I didn't time it. Normally when I want to reproduce a fabric with dyeing, I measure the water, I measure the dye, and then I put it in the dye bath and I time it. I'm like, okay, I pulled it out I've got my stopwatch going, I pull it out at this many minutes and rinse it. And then if I want to reproduce it, I go back to those notes and I put in that much water and that much dye, and I put it in the dye bath, and then I set the timer, and then I pull it out and I rinse it, and then I lay it back in the dye bath. So I normally have these really good, and this one I was just like, the cat is trying to get in the bathtub. I'm got 9,000 things going. I'm trying to get all my work done before I leave for my trip, make sure everything is handled for my work. And my assistant can just, run and go without any worries. And I'm just like chucking glugs of dye in a tin pan in the bathtub and just like swishing it around until I'm like, okay, good enough, got it. Oops, I'll never ever be able to reproduce that one. So reason number 2, because I can just order another piece, and there might be a slight dye lot difference, because that's just how fabric works. But yeah. Anyway, long story short, always a long story short. I'm good for a ramble. So I know a lot of you, 299 other people are going to Stitchcon today, and I am super anxious to see. I know you've never seen my face, but if you see, this is my one project bag I brought. I brought my lovely Bathing Beauties project bag that I whipped together, because I was like, oh god, everyone's gonna have project bags, and I'm just gonna have my zippy bags. That's not. I felt peer pressured, guys. You guys peer pressured me with all your beautiful. So I whipped together that bag, and it is like literally, the other bag I have is this. I think I got this at the dollar store. I got that bag, and there's one in my backpack that is, I used to belong to a spooky stationery club. So I have that bag too, but I'm loving that. The more I look at it, the more I love it, which is good, because that's going to be my crank project. So I will be around Stitchcon today and all weekend. I made these buttons. I will be wearing one of these buttons today. I also have, I think I made like a dozen of them. So, if somebody says, oh, I'm also shy, I will ask them if they want a button. So if you see someone with this button on, talk to them. It might be me. It might be someone else who can point me out. I'm just so looking forward to it. I'm going to sit here and stitch for, I think, an hour. It's 8 o'clock. It's crazy that I'm this awake, and I've been waking up at 5:30 in Washington State. And so it is almost 5:30 in Washington State right now, and I've been up for 3 hours here, and I'm just like, I just hope I make it through the stitching room tonight. I stayed specifically at the La Quinta so that way I could be stumbling elevator distance to the late night stitching room. And hopefully I'll make it, because so I guess that's it. That's it for later. We're gonna keep this one short, 15 minutes. That's a crazy, unexpected, one for me, but no editing, no nothing. We're just going for it. We're gonna post it. So hopefully I will meet you this weekend. If I do not meet you this weekend, I hope you're having a beautiful weekend, and I'll give you another update very, very soon. Tonight, maybe. I'll see if I can patch together my YouTube account. I do not have the stats to do mobile live, and I did not realize that, so I didn't bring my GoPro, which I bought like a couple weeks ago for another purpose, and I could have chucked that in my bag, but I don't know, honestly. No, don't think anything else would have fit in my bag. It was packed so tight. So I will hopefully see you soon. I will definitely post a little bit. Bye.